So now let's change the topic a little bit and talk about songwriting.
Cool.
I write songs too, and I have my own process, and it changes. It's never one thing or another. But what about you? When you're saying, okay, time for some new songs, is there one path that usually works for you, or where do you go? How do you start?
I think the one thing that really makes me write songs is when I have a deadline for a record, and I need some songs.
Yeah, deadlines.
I find that unless I kind of have a deadline, like, we're going into the studio in 2 months, I can be as lazy as the next person.
Hear, hear.
And I find that really helps motivate me. As far as any specific process, I think it's kind of the same with everyone. You sit down, there's a blank piece of paper maybe in front of you. You try playing some chords on the piano. You try strumming the guitar a bit. Maybe you sing through some things. I kind of spend a lot of time, kind of in my own head, maybe working out musical ideas. And for me, the interesting part is kind of finding the lyrical idea that kind of matches whatever it is that I'm singing about, and hopefully those two things can kind of grow together into a song.
One of the questions that comes to me from my experience is, do you work first? Does the music come first? Chords? Does it rise out of a musical sound experience? Or do you think in terms of lyrics? For example, do you carry around a notebook?
Yeah, well, I carry on my laptop, which ends up
works,
having all of my kind of song ideas or song titles. I'll use notebooks too sometimes. Those can be really nice. It really ends up being a mix of both. I usually have a list of maybe song titles I think are kind of interesting or funny, or maybe I'll have like a line here or there. But then I also tend to write from melody a lot as well. So usually something will end up popping into my head. I'll kind of keep that filed away. I might record it on my phone and retrieve it later. And then it's usually a process of kind of mixing and matching, like any of these song titles maybe match with any of these either chord ideas or musical ideas. That generally ends up being the process. Although every once in a while you're just given a gift from the universe, and you just sit down and you write a song, and that's all there is to it. And I love it when that happens, although I can't always plan for it happening.
Yeah, I know. Well, so as you go through your day, just going to the bank, going to the grocery store, whatever you're doing, are you always kind of thinking on the lookout for, I just heard that's a nice line?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually one of the funny things, like my first day when I was teaching here, I saw a bunch of composition majors, and they were walking down the hall, and one of them just walked into a wall. And I just thought, these are my people. Okay, yeah, there's always the thing if you're doing something else, but your mind is engaged in lots of other things too. For me, it's when I'm in the shower, when I'm cleaning the house. I mean, I could be riding my bike. I wrote a big chunk of the Reluctant Graveyard, my last record, while just riding my bicycle. Really, you can be doing anything, but as long as there's some kind of like absent-minded processing going on there, it seems to be helpful.
Songwriting can be dangerous. You want to watch that, riding your bicycle, writing a song. Oh my God, I'm all...
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. So I want you to know that here at McNally Smith, we have installed rubber bumpers on all corners and sharp objects, so we try to minimize the liability for songwriting. Now, have you done much collaborative writing with other artists?
No, I really haven't. At least from the songwriting part of it, I pretty much write all of this stuff myself. Very rarely, I'll maybe bring someone in to help out with maybe a particularly troublesome section. That said, I still use lots of other people as editors. So I'll finish a song, and then I have like a group of people that I do play my songs for before they come out. People whose opinions I really respect. And I can usually trust them to give me very good advice and honest feedback about how a song is. And I use that a lot. I do spend a lot of time editing just to make sure that I'm executing like the ideas, that I'm really saying what I'm meaning to say. I would venture to say that I spend probably 90% of the time working on a song simply editing the lyrics and going through and making sure that I'm making sense.
In spite of what David Byrne said, stop making sense.
Well, the thing is, I agree with him too.
Yeah.
Lyrics are probably overrated in most, but for some of us, they don't have to be, and they can be a source of entertainment as well.
That's certainly true. I mean, there's plenty of great songs that just get the body moving, where the lyrics are simply inane. They mean virtually nothing. But then we all know lyrics can be so powerful and so important and have such impact on the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the 60s and 70s in Vietnam, and the music scene that was so powerful and had such impact on people's lives.
I think there's room for both, I hope.
Yeah, certainly is. So, but I ask about the collaboration because that seems to be such a popular, almost prevalent method, at least in the kind of commercially successful, which is not necessarily something to aspire to, but that, man, everywhere you look, people are writing together but it's like they're working together on product.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean to cast aspersions on that way of working,
sure.
But it just seems like a very process-oriented towards commercial success.
Yeah, I think that's the commercial process, I think. I think it's maybe partly political, too, how some songs... because there's a lot of great songs out there, but only a few end up becoming hits, and I sometimes wonder if it's the ones with all sorts of vested corporate interests and multiple writers who have the political power to make a song a hit,
Well, I think that's probably true, because that works that way in so many ways. Connections, who what your money is often power,
sure.
And you connect up with the right people, and there it is. But that's why, kind of back to where we started this discussion, to me it's so appealing both politically and artistically to just hit the road in your car with your guitar in the in the back seat, and you go play and eat with people and community. The word comes to mind again. It's just such a beautiful way to go through life, and play in an intimate environment with people that just love your music. And then there is no better marketing than word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I bet these people are going to leave your show pretty happy.
I hope so. I'm just hoping nobody gets food poisoning.
Yeah, that could be it. There could be drawbacks to this, yeah.